Hi, welcome to Live at 12:05. My name is Sheila Williams-Morales. I'm a museum docent here at the Isle of Wight County Museum. And today I'll be showing artifacts from the Smithfield Baptist Church. So very briefly, the Smithfield Baptist Church was established in 1830 by members of the Mill Swamp Church. By 1873, they would purchase an old Presbyterian church on Church Street that they would use for their congregation. Unfortunately, in 1973, it burned down, and by 1975, they reopened in a new location, 100 Rainwhite Drive, which is where it is today. So the first item I have is this commemorative plate. I wanted to show it for two reasons. First, the drawing, and second, the inscription. So the drawing is of the original church that sat on Church Street. Members had described beautiful stained glass windows from Europe, and you can definitely see it in the drawings here. So when you see this image, you know that it predates 1973. The plate itself is from 1951, and we know this because of the inscription on the back. It was celebrating its 121st anniversary, and so the inscription has a bit of church history. So this is actually a pretty great time capsule for October of 1951. I'll read out just the last two sentences. They're very brief. One minister has gone from the church, namely R. Carrington Pollett, son of a beloved past pastor, and this year Miss Hannah Barlow became a missionary to Japan. There are 475 members to this date, October 7th, 1951. So I did some research on Miss Hannah Barlow, and her parents were Mr. and Mrs. Gordon E. Barlow, and she had graduated from Smithfield High School in 1944. She was valedictorian, and she was one of 19 to be chosen by the Foreign Mission Board of the Southern Baptist Convention to do missionary work. She would be one of 7 to be assigned to Japan. She ended up in Yokohama, and in the Smithfield Times around November 8th, 1951, she actually had a message published there where she describes Yokohama, her rice diet, her hopes of a cultural exchange between Japan and the West, as well as her experiences with Typhoon Ruth. So Typhoon Ruth had hit Japan in October of that year. Eventually, by the 1960s, she'd be back in the States. She would have married and become Mrs. Jack P. Bain of Ivor. So the next item I've got is this booklet for the 150th anniversary from 1980. So as you can see, this is the church that is on Wainwright Drive. Prior to this church, the congregation would have met in the Smithfield High School auditorium. If you look at contemporary newspapers that say 1973, around the time of the fire, the pastor, Warren Francis Taylor, had an ad in the Smithfield Times that stated something like, "We may have been burned out, but we are still very much alive. I have lost my study, but not my job." So if we look at the front of the booklet, we can see that he's still the pastor by 1980. The booklet contains poems, messages, church histories. And on the back, for the anniversary committee, we can see that Miss Hannah Barlow, her mother, was part of the committee, Mrs. Gordon E. Barlow. And then last but not least, we have this box of note cards. So here's one note card given as an example. So this predates 1973. We can tell because of the image of the original church, the beautiful stained glass windows. And then I looked up the company that created these, Creco Creations, and they were founded in 1954. So the range for this card might be early 60s to early 70s. There's no letters that I found in any of these note cards, but I think they're really neat because I still send letters to my friends. I really enjoyed researching these artifacts because it allowed me to learn more about certain individuals in the Isle of Wight community. So thank you for watching.